There we go. Okay. Heyo, welcome everybody to this is going to be our session one, where I did session zero, where we built the characters for Legends of the Khurst Riders. This is our first actual play test on this, and this is truly a play test. Um, I've read it once before. It is using the bound by tension system, so we're all at least used to it in some sense. I want you guys to think about your characters because I'm going to ask you to tell us exactly who you're playing, but to give people kind of an idea, if you haven't watched any of the prep videos at all, is that these three characters that I have here in front of me, they are all cursed from their motherland. They also have a haunt that they can't live with, that the Baroness, who owns the cursed lands, which is a like 1830s alt history USA, kind of the Louisiana Purchase. She was able to buy part of that with their money. Uh, she's called the Baroness, but no one really knows what her royalty is. And she has basically saved each and every one of these characters. And as part of her payment, she has removed some of their memories that they have asked her to remove. Their goal is to pay off the soul debt in time before they either get consumed by their haunt by remembering too early, or that their curse that they have, these are all going to be like folklore tribal curses. And we'll go over those here just a little bit. So it might get consumed by that. So the goal is to pay off this 10 souls before getting consumed by either one of those. Then they can tell, hopefully, a beautiful story of redemption or a horrible story of denial. It's it's whatever the players want to do. It's the part of the game that I'm the most excited to see in action as we go along because things are going to come up automatically. That's why when you make a character, do not think about your haunt too much. Don't think about your fable curse that you have too much because you're going to have to tie it in when it gets triggered to the scene that you're having right then. So then that will tell a narrative story once it triggers 5 times. You'll have all these different scenes that you can kind of piece together of like, this is what's happened, this is why it happened, and now the game's over. So it's not going to happen all in this one thing. We're going to play the free on RPGDrive thru in itch.io, The Salvation of Honest Jakob. And before we begin, I'm going to have the players introduce their characters. And I don't know how this always ends up this way, but Aaron always ends up in my upper left-hand corner here as the start. So if you could get us kicked off, tell us about your character.
Yeah, so Kaz Abramov is not really recollecting the motherland all that well. Slavic, maybe Russian, but there's a lot that's going on with Kaz that things seem a little bit slippery about where he's been, and frankly, as we'll find out who he's been. Standing just a little under average height, sort of pale white skin, very thick head of just really pitch black hair and heavy eyebrows, heavy dark eyebrows, uh, sort of wide dark eyes that seem to reflect you back like you're looking in a funhouse mirror, just the tiniest bit in a way that always makes people just a little hesitant to catch his eye, which actually is sort of an interesting power dynamic for him because he tells people's futures, and the ability to make them just a little bit uncomfortable has served him very, very well throughout his return to life or whatever the heck this is. Is that a pretty good start?
Yeah, yep, I love it. Now, don't tell me any of the background of what you've been thinking about what it is, but can you tell me just the one word descriptor of your haunt, and so I can write it down, maybe integrate it more into your story. It should be on your character sheet.
Oh, uh, How to do it in one word.
Oh, is it? Well, here, I can look it up here. Is it? Oh, your haunt
Uh,
is
yeah,
you're
I
selfish.
made a deal. Is that something that sounds work?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's fine.
selfish?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
selfish. If you take a look at your character, so you
Yep.
chose a haunt when you made your character. So this is just
Yes.
something to remind me things I need to look out for, like um, that I can use narratively while we're telling the story. All
Yes.
right.
Yeah. Yep.
All
So
right.
selfish is one of the key words. Yep. Absolutely.
Perfect. All right. And next I have Eric.
I'm playing Daniel Patrick Kelly. He's just Dan Kelly. Uh, a tall, thin, pale. Uh, of auburn hair, but you wouldn't say that he's a ginger. Like it's more brown than auburn, with little tints of red in there. Looks to be in his late 20s, maybe. Uh, he wears one of these hats, uh, and otherwise like a black suit. Um, uh, all black, black shirt, black jacket, black boots. Um, he has two. Can I have two pistols? I'm not sure how it works mechanic wise. Would it
Yeah,
make
you
sense
can
just
have
to have the
two, but you
one?
can only shoot with one at a time. That's fine.
But let's just say it's just one pistol that is definitely like in view. There's no like hiding it, right? Uh, that's slung low, um, like someone who would want to try to quick draw it. Uh, what else do you want to know?
The your haunt, your one word haunt.
Wanted.
Nice.
Perfect.
I'm
And
Irish, if I didn't mention it. Okay.
perfect. And then
And
final,
and can I also real quick though?
yeah.
I have Irish in Eric's real life family, and I am going to try to be very conscious of being respectful. And I could make something up, but I'm just gonna really see what happens when I try to be really respectful and honest, and see if I still am horrible at this. I don't know. I really want to play test the part where you try to do something that's real, and maybe it just doesn't work, and then I apologize to all the Kellys out there. Sorry, Grandma.
And that's exactly right. Something go back and watch our point five session where it's Eric, Rachel, and I just talking about cultural things for this game. And so it was decided that Eric is going to take on the task of like tying it specifically to an actual culture to see if this works, or if it's just too much over the line, or if it's just going to end up being whatever is comfortable to the player. So, all right. So next, I've got Rachel.
I am playing Huni, uh, and she is a Nordic, so going the more generic or general could cover a variety of different countries. Um, she kind of falls into if you met her on the street, you would think she is some type of Nordic Scandinavian. A dog that's being very feisty right now, so apologize. Um, I would actually say Elsa from Frozen is not a inaccurate description. Like very white blonde hair, very piercing blue eyes. She's pretty tall. Um, what else do you need to know?
And your haunt.
My haunt is shaken.
Perfect. Now,
Shaken. Interesting.
the each of the players has chosen their haunt, And just for the one word going off of that, each of them also has a different kind of idea on what's that's going to be based around, but that'll get explored a little bit more. All right, let's jump into rolling some dice. Now, before each adventure begins, we need to talk about what are our Khurst Riders doing. You are one of 12 Khurst Riders for the Baroness, and you aren't always on duty. But there's also a question of, are you do you even exist outside of the Baroness's whims of doing missions for her? You think you do. You're pretty sure you do because in between missions, you actively go out and do stuff. You eat, you think you go to bed. Like you live in the town of New Rouge and you bunk all down in the same building. So you think you're all there. So during your free time before we launch into it, now everyone starts with one legend point. Okay. Now, before the adventure begins, we get to do a preamble where you get to choose to do one of two activities. You may either go bounty hunting or you can do gambling. If you go bounty hunting, you can earn yourself some more silver. And I put together a little bit longer list of items for people to buy. Um, so you can possibly earn some more silver with the bounty hunting. But if you go gambling, means you can possibly win yourself a soul to get down on your soul debt by one. Now, I'm not going to lie, there's a possibility your soul debt may go up by one too if you are not a very good gambler. So, how many people want to do what? Because that will matter on the rolls.
I got to ask from the top here.
Yeah.
Like redemption arc, like is what we should be going for eventually, right? So, if in theory, maybe you thought that your past included killing people, you didn't want to resort to violence. Is that a thing that should be taken into account now? Or do I
Question.
or do they lean into it because they're good at it?
These are going to be questions that you're going to have to answer yourself because the big part of the redemption arc is going to be talking about getting your memories back and then telling us the whole story. Because right now, the haunt is you have something that you did that's so horrible at the time that the Baroness took your memories, you couldn't live with it. Okay. So now your redemption for yourself could be as simple as like, you know what? I own up to it. I did that. And I, I'm dealing with it in a certain way. Right. Or it could be like, you know what? I have an inkling. I think I might have killed people in my past. Um, and so then I think I need to do this. I think I need to stay away from killing people. That's
Mhm.
totally up to you. I think it's fascinating from a role playing standpoint. Um, bounty hunting is dead or alive, you know. So,
Right.
and for the most part, you can choose to do non-lethal damage unless, I mean, guns. You can't really do that, unfortunately.
Yeah, for sure. I think I'm gonna gamble then.
Okay, Kaz, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I'd like to try this gambling thing. I don't think I've done much of that, but if there's a chance I could get my soul debt down, let's go take a look.
All right, love it. And then this is the part where I do this. All right, so I assume that we'll have to stop before we continue. Uh, what I love about this is that everyone who says gambling is going to be gambling against each other. So that'll be fun. And if Rachel jumps in too, yeah, that'll be fun.
Oh no, that changes a little bit, but let's go for it. Let's see what happens with this.
Yeah, it ends up being yeah. That was one of the things they talked about on the when we were talking about the game, Eric was like, "Well, like, isn't everyone just gonna go like pay it all off all at the same time? Aren't all of us gonna trigger?" So, very unlikely, because of this gambling thing. There's going to be things during adventures where you can get rid of some of your soul debt or gain more soul debt, but they're going to be big, obvious moments. It's not going to be like, oh, well, just happened to lose a soul there. That's cool. Um, there is one in this adventure, but you guys have to go to a little bit of extreme lengths to do it. But knowing you guys, you'll find it and want to do it.
Cat is gone. We're good.
Wow,
No more distractions.
that's amazing. Okay, did you hear?
Sally was not having it. He brought the cat through the house, and Sally was like, "No, get the thing out of my."
Oh no, that's amazing. Did you hear at all about whether you want to do gambling or bounty hunting?
I heard you say that the options were gambling or bounty hunting, and that was the last thing I heard.
Perfect. That's all you really need to know. Bounty hunting can earn you some
Okay.
silver. Gambling can lower your soul debt. But if you're not a very good gambler, you could also have it go up.
Are there like certain skills that are associated with like being a good
Yes,
gambler?
there are. Now, uh, I'm just curious because I'm going to leave it blind right now for you guys to choose. But I will tell you, I split them up 3 and 3 that everyone could have a good option in both gambling or bounty hunting. So, what do you think you want to
Oh, I'll try gambling.
do? Okay, so we've got 3 people
Oh,
for
that
gambling.
laugh makes me poorly. Did we all choose gambling?
Yes, everyone chose gambling. Now, the reason I wanted to do this blind the first time, just because I thought it was hilarious, is that all 3 of you are going to be gambling against each other, which means there's going to be losers and there's going to be winners. In the in the chat, if you take a look over there, those are the 3 skills that you can use for gambling. And depending on what you use, whether you use um, like your brawn, your brains, or your belief, just tell me narratively how you're using it and then make a roll. Remember, you only have 1 legend point. High total wins, lowest total loses. If you're in the middle, you push. Anyone want to start us off here? So basically, you 3 Khurst Riders are hanging out. The only thing worth gambling with is your soul debt, honestly. You can gamble amongst each other for silver, but what fun is that? Let's have some real stakes here. So you 3 sit down. You probably do this. This is like a weekly game that you guys probably do. So who wants the first roll? And tell me what strategy you're going to use for this hand. We're just going to play 1 hand and that's it.
Just before we jump in, I kind of like the idea. What if we all, just not knowing what the heck it is we're doing right now, just committed to this being our weekly game? I mean, not that
Yeah.
we couldn't cancel our weekly game to go bounty hunting if we were like out of money, but like, should we have this be our standing go-to? Unless I start losing a lot, in which case maybe it's a bad idea. I don't know. Just put it out there.
Started as the weekly game and see what happens, I guess, right?
Yeah. What the hell? Right? Okay.
All right, perfect. All right, well, so you start off. This is your probably you guys have been probably playing for a long time, but you just been kind of pushing the souls back and forth, and you're all kind of dead even right now at 10. So who wants to start it off? We've got bluff, cheat, or just straight up playing.
Dan's just wait, hold. I'm looking at Rachel's character sheet. What am I doing?
I was gonna say you know what I'm doing. I'm going straight up.
All right. So just like in Honor Bound, you just take the. So let's just show the folks at home here. So if we go off of there's Rachel's character sheet, you're going to do some fixing. And what attribute are you going to use?
I would like to use belief. I have belief in myself. I have faith in myself to play this card game well.
All right, so you're kind of Narutoing it, just the heart of the cards, but you also have been playing for long enough. You know the rules and everything. You're like you have a pretty good idea
Know
of what's
these
going to happen.
players played before. I have an idea of how to read them.
All right, perfect. Let's roll those dice.
What do I roll?
So it's going to be 6-siders, right? And you're doing fixin' and belief. That's 6 dice.
So would that be? Do you type /roll? I always forget how we do
Oh,
that.
just put in 6d6. So the number 6, lowercase d. Boom. There you go. Okay. Now the other reason that we do this is because we get to do stuff with it, right? Wow, did I forget how the game works? What do the 6s mean and what do the 1s mean? They mean stuff.
The 6s are good for you.
For
They
me?
give you fuck us over points, and
Great.
the 1s are good for us. They give us awesome points.
Perfect. I need to make sure that that's still true for this game because they might have changed from Honor Bound.
We're still taking the first 2 dice, correct?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
You keep 2 automatically, and then if you want to keep another one, spend a legacy point.
Yeah, there you go. Got it.
All right. So then give me a second.
That's a pretty good roll.
The rule of 1 and 6, it is you roll a 1. No, other way around for this game. So you guys want 6s. So Huni, you get 2 legend points, and I get 1 tension point.
Was it the other way around before?
In Honor Bound, it's the other way around.
Okay, good.
Yep.
Make sure I
This is
remember.
the reason I changed that around for this one, like Party First, this is a horror game. So once you start getting those 1s, it's a quicker downward spiral. Whereas in Honor Bound, even if you fail, you get some points back, so you can maybe do better next time. Whereas this one, if you start failing, it just starts going
Goes
bad.
down to a- Got it.
All right. So, Huni, heart of the cards at 12. Do you want to spend your 1 legend point to put it at 15? Can't imagine you do.
No. I'm okay.
Okay. Probably should have done this blind and just have everyone roll at the same time, but that's where we're
I was kind of wondering. I was like, well, I'm just gonna. That's what I'm doing.
at.
Here we go, everybody.
Dan Kelly, Kaz, what do you got? What are you doing?
I'm gonna straight up cheat.
All right. So we're gonna do some weaseling. So let's take a look at your thing. You got weaseling, and you're gonna use brawn, I assume.
Yeah, for a little steel sneak.
Perfect. What are you doing? You're just trying to put the right card on the top of the deck for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm dealing it. I find a face card to make sure that's on the bottom of the deck that I can give myself.
Perfect. All right, 6 dice.
10.
Now we're
So
talking.
12.
All right, and
Oh, I
yes.
needed 2. Oof.
Oh,
Oh, you
go
want to
ahead.
spend your
Yeah.
1 legend point, Dan?
Well, I know I'm going to beat Huni, so I'd get it
Tie.
back.
It would just be a
No,
tie.
oh,
Oh
she's
no,
at a
you're right.
12.
You're right. No, that would be a win. That's right.
Yeah, I'm going to do it.
Amazing. Like, spend all the points now while you're gambling. Whatever about the
I don't
adventure.
know. Yeah,
All
I'm gonna
right,
get it back
perfect.
anyway. If I don't spend it, then I might lose, and I won't get anything, and I will lose one. So I might as well spend one. I have a better shot of gaining one.
Well, this is well, okay. All right,
If I
and Kaz, what are you doing?
All right, I'm going to be using my slick words. While they're busy looking at the cards and playing with all that spirit, I'm just going to be that patois that gets them confused about what's actually happening. And then I'm going to oh,
Oh,
mm, boy, what happens if we tie? If I burn that point and I tie with Huni?
you both lose.
So I have a
'Cause-
choice of either I lose or we both lose.
Yes.
And if we both lose, does Dan win? Does Dan Kelly win twice?
No. I know it doesn't work out math wise, but
Oh, the worst part about this, Huni, is we both lost. It's just amazing how just bad luck tends to spread. Yeah.
you do.
Yeah. Why not? Let's go for it. Let's just embrace it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I'll
for
burn
our
the coin.
so like how I kind of imagine it is that Cooney is playing straight up, right? Heart of the cards, like got the belief, nailing it. Kaz has just been a relentless assault of just like talking about game theory and like, oh well, counting cards, oh, all right, all this stuff. Dan Kelly takes this as a distraction. Palms that face card he's been looking for, flips it down to get the highest hand. Kaz, sensing that it's going to be awful, that he's not going to get the winning hand, distracts Huni into Huni maybe made the wrong bet at the wrong time because he got distracted. And on your so Dan Kelly, your soul debt goes down to 9.
Can I
Huni,
advocate for him taking us both and getting down to 8?
I mean, this is for playtesting purposes, right?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Like if he really like we both, well, because I try. Oh, I what's the word? I tried to overachieve and kind of screwed us both. Does that mean Dan swept in and won from both of us, or do you want it to be that it's harder to pay off your soul debt? Because he could win two. That could be big.
right.
So
The idea was just one because I didn't want it. This is just like the precursor. I'm just trying to get dice in there. Like I've got 4 tension points now. Um, 2 of you spent legend points, so you're at 0. Meanwhile, Hootie's at 3. Um, so because we're doing this is playtesting, right? I'm gonna write that down. Sure. Dan Kelly go down to 8.
all right.
let's put some real
So
teeth in this gambling.
should
It's
should have.
really.
But I'm just worried that people will like figure out a way, like, okay, we're gonna play a 5-handed game and somehow have 4 of us tie and have
Right.
one person win, right? And I'm like, oh man,
There has to be a way to do it in the blind, so you cannot collaborate to be so that everybody wins. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like you have to find some way,
yeah.
and maybe it's better for us to each play against the house rather than each other because then you don't have to worry about collaboration
I think maybe just doing it blind is probably fine.
either way.
Because I love that idea of doing it at a table, like looking at each other and just being
Yeah.
like, well, all right.
But
Okay.
Rachel would also lose that too. No offense,
Well,
darling, but Rachel's not good at poker. She would
well,
absolutely
it's rolling the
lose.
dice.
You don't play poker with me. You just know I'm bad at bluffing.
I have to assume that you're bad at poker, I guess. I love you to death, but I bet you're really bad at it. I don't know though. Maybe you're good at it.
Hey, she's got the
Well,
I
belief.
think if I play straight, just like Huni. If I play straight up, fine, because I don't have to bluff.
See,
And then I'm gonna
there
cheat
you
and win anyway. So it's kind of like real life. Crazy.
go. Ah,
Well, there
right.
there seems to be a real advantage to going last, right? Because you
Yeah,
definitely know whether you want to spend those points. So going in sequence like that, yeah, it could be a problem, right? I wonder how we fix that, right? Because I'm guessing Huni would want to spend a point now to take the whole pot.
yeah. If that was the case, now she would still only win one, but better than losing one. You know, that's a two soul turnaround, obviously. But okay, something maybe at our next scene, maybe we'll try and figure it out. Our next, if we do another adventure, we'll try and figure that out. All right, so Dan Kelly's got a commanding lead on towards his redemption story here. All right, so you get done with the dust finally settles for your from your card game, as it always ends with people cursing and hollering at each other about no good, low down cheaters or what may have made her happen. As the hands lay down, you feel the brands that you have that call you the Khurst Riders. You feel the transference of power from go about amongst each other. People have lost, it gets heavier. Dan Kelly's yours gets lighter. Later on in the afternoon, you're all called, summoned. Maybe someone comes running by here, but it is you're told by I think we're gonna have the Baroness has her own personal guard called the Brute Squad. Large, it's one person, easily stands. Now to call them human still is not quite sure. Standing almost 7 feet tall, wrapped in black clothes, even over their faces. Human shaped, just very large, close to maybe 300, 400 pounds, towering above you. When it walks towards you, it leaves crystallized frost on the hot ground behind it as it walks toward you. Delivers a message that the Baroness has a job for you. One of the women who makes a living at the upstairs of the Eden has come down with something a little bit more sinister than a cold. The Baroness would love to get a favor from the owner of the saloon, Madame Lily. And if it's rumored that Madame Lily used to go by Colonel Lily in a former life, and if her girls can't handle what's going on, it must be something's not right. Each of the riders is sworn one soul if they figure out what is uh, happening to the women and to stop it from spreading. Now, the saloon is in New Ruse. If you scroll back up on there, you see you got the map out. It's right there in the middle, right? Castle Bram's where the Baroness lives, and you guys down in New Ruse. Uh, Kind of a middling size, kind of bustling little bit of a town on there. Think of it as like Deadwood from the show Deadwood. Very much normal. People kind of know who you are, kind of. They all know that you're probably Khurst Riders, just from the brands that you have. So you don't even have to hop on your horses. You can just walk on over. You go over to Eden, home of the Khurst Territories' finest services. The two-story saloon is easy to spot by its wooden sign. There's a wanted poster nailed to the hitching post states that all healers are welcome. 10 silver reward upon proof of good health. The inside of the saloon is lavishly decorated in a deep red velvet with a greenery tastefully interspersed. Table is set up for a game of faro, and a modest bar lines the back wall. There's a reinforced door behind the bar. Hanging glass beads denote a stairway leading upstairs to the second floor. Some guests crowd the faro table while a couple of Eden's workers sit apprehensively, glancing up towards the stairs. Quick look reveals several knots of the wooden ceiling and back wall there should be that are the perfect size for a gun barrel. The relative calm is shattered by a man who comes charging down the stairs, hugging a medicinal bag. He's screaming madly about a million moths before he crashes outside the front doors where he just came in. The man's departure is met with an awkward silence. The bartender, known around these parts as Sebastian, tries to retain order by addressing you all. It's like, oh, hey, if you guys are looking for Lily, she'll be in just a little second. Can I get you all a drink?
Jameson, straight up.
I'll see what we got. Oh, we got whiskey. We can see what you got here, sir. You bet. Come on over. On the house for some of the curse finest around here.
In that case, my friend, I'll make my drink on the house a double. Whiskey, please.
Oh, uh, yeah. You see him grit his teeth a little bit, but he is not going to say anything about it. He pours you a double. Um, People give y'all a wide berth. Huni, do you want in on this?
Sure. I'll do the same. A single. That's fine.
All right. It's good to get out of the beating heat of the sun from outside. It's good to be inside to the shade, relatively calm, and the bustle kind of starts back up of people talking to each other. Sebastian, the bartender, pours out your drinks and hand them over to you. It's like, well, don't see your kind around here that often. What can I do for you? Do you need me to get Lily right now?
Good.
If you can see Bass, do it now. Sooner than late. The better.
Oh, sure. I can. He goes back to the reinforced door that's behind him on the bar. When he kind of starts to go for a knock, and he kind of puts his body in front of it, tries to do like kind of a quiet knock or whatever. Okay, all right. She says just to give her a minute, and she'll be out in a bit. You want to hand a pharaoh or talk to or just hang out for a little bit. It won't be long. You guys have basically like a round or two to do anything, or you guys can just hang out and wait if you want to. People are actively giving you enough room, but not treating you like pariah. Okay, because you guys are different. One of the things that you need to know is that to remind yourselves is that you are also all immigrants. Now, everyone that travels to the west on here is immigrants too, but they're mostly kind of the same kind of clans of people, right? We're not going to see Irish is probably going to fit in the most for the folks that have come to this town, like Slavic and Nordic, um, a little different, but you're going to still stand out.
Is there one of Lily's uh, employees that it's close? That's hanging
Yeah,
around.
yeah, absolutely. There's a couple little plush couches around that you can just go and sit down and talk to one of them if you like.
I'll do that.
Okay, Cooney.
I I'd probably follow.
Okay, Kaz.
No,
Okay.
you're not following. You can listen if you want
Oh.
to. You're not following.
And I'll sit at a table like right behind.
I'm going to go sit down at the Pharaoh table.
Okay, perfect. Sounds good. Let's start off with Kaz then. It seems to be uh, kind of sit down. Looks like there's just been a bunch of charlatans have kind of descended upon Eden, hoping to pocket some easy silver. So you're kind of looking around. You kind of
Yeah,
like, okay,
find a table with an open seat, preferably near the dealer if I can.
yeah, Yeah, not a problem. They're taking turns dealing it out here. Um, this looks like the stakes are just 2 silver a hand. The main difference is that you can use the exact same rules of what we just did for gambling if you want to play a hand. The difference is if you get caught cheating, if you lose cheating, there's further consequences.
Yeah, I don't think cheating's gonna work well for me. So I'm gonna be bluffing, charming with my brains as best I can.
Okay. Do you just want to play a quick hand while you're waiting?
Yeah. Play a quick hand, and then are there any at the table where I found a seat? Are there any regulars that I recognize who are normally hanging out in the saloon very often? Any townies?
Not really. You think that the descending of vultures, basically, trying to make a quick buck, is kind of driven away the regulars at this point in time. Like as soon as this whole thing's done, the regulars will probably come back.
Okay. Uh, yeah, just try to meet one of them, and my sort of my professional thing is figuring out what a person really really wants. So just try to figure out what they're doing in town, and maybe if I can help connect them with anything that they might be looking for. But I'll just go ahead and get some straight up gambling in here.
Huh. Sounds good. All right. Here's my roll.
Oh,
Oh.
kidding me? Holy shit!
Let's see what you got.
Oh, oh man. Well, I'll put my silver down. Oh man. So do I earn a legend point on all rolls, and you earn tension point on all rolls?
So my rolls never give out anything. It's
Okay.
only your rolls. So yeah, I get 2 tension points off that. But you do get a legend point off that.
And 2 silver down. All right. Yeah, I'll just chat
Yep.
with these fellas and watch
Yeah.
my two comrades out of the corner of my eye.
All right, sounds good. Now I did say I was going to play test this, and I can see that maybe it was just a mistake to try and trigger it every 5. Um, but
Is
I
it
said
is it 5 per person or 5 total?
five
Is
total.
it like do my 5 track differently from Huni and
No,
Dan Kelly's 5s? Okay.
it's gonna be total. I did try and write it so it would be like each of you did got your own. I figured that's gonna be way too hard bookkeeping wise. Um, so I'm gonna have you roll a d6. That's kind of what I like about this too. I think the 5 is going to be interesting just because maybe you do set a 5 for one shots, you know, to try and accelerate what's happening here.
Yep, so
Okay,
3.
so you rolled a 3. And you put your hand in, like you go to pay the silver. You put your hand in your pocket and you feel something kind of squishy in your pocket. As you pull it out, you're like, ah, looks like you got maybe some weevils or something like that. Ate a hole through your money pouch, which is now empty. Like, hey, you owe 2 silver. All right, let's pop over to Dan as you're sitting down, as if he sits down at a nearby table. um, yeah, so you just sit down. Let me get to the right page. Just gonna talk to some people. Okay. All right, so you sit down and you're you're just gonna do some general asking around right now, right?
Yeah, try to get a little info on why we might be here.
Okay. You just kind of make a couple of little bit of polite talk, and you're pointing to one girl in particular named Effie Ugalike, who is Gail's best friend. Gail's the name of the woman who's upstairs that came down with something. Effie is nervous. She doesn't seem to be nervous about your reputation, though. It's from something else. Her eyes dart around nervously, going back to Lily's office every time right before she begins to speak. And she's like, "Oh, hi, yes, I'm Effie. It's a pleasure to meet you. You're a Khurst Rider, is that right?"
Effie, what can you tell me about Gail? What happened to her?
Oh, I don't know if I should be saying anything.
The more you say now, and this is between the two of us, the more you say, the more I'll be able to help and solve this problem.
Oh, you see, she's got a really weird look on her face. Doesn't like she's gonna open up unless you kind of put the screws to her, or use a skill, I should say. You know,
Yeah. I'm gonna screw. Wait. Uh, probably just using my charming, some slick words to put her into an easy place to be able to want to answer my questions and not worry about the consequences that are coming.
see what happened there. There we go. Okay. Yeah. So you are the attacker, so you roll first. So I assume you're gonna be, what is that? Brains and charming, you're thinking?
Yeah, slick words.
Okay. Yep. Go for it.
I just rolled it. It's
Oh,
a
okay.
10.
Perfect. So the 6 goes to you, so you get a legend point there. You're at a 10. Do you want to spend a legend point to make it a little bit bigger or no?
Nah, we'll just go with this. See what happens.
Effie.
Oh
Oh,
shit, she's good.
I am rolling amazing. Okay. So Effie is gonna keep it close to her pot chest, you know. She just says like, "Well, I don't feel right. Um, it's what it, it wouldn't be right talking about Gail's daughter or talking about Lily's daughter like that."
I guess you leave me no choice. Huni, and I'll stand up and look at Huni, and I'll gesture for her to sit on the couch. And I'm just gonna look at Effie and just shake my head slowly as Huni sits down next to her. And then I'm gonna go over to the Pharaoh's table. I'll wink at Huni on the way by.
All right, Uni, what do you got for us?
I will literally respond like Rachel just did, just kind of my head at it, like kind of making it a little over dramatic to be like, I don't know what's going on with him. I don't know why he signaled me to come over here like he did. Sorry, Rachel's trying to get her a little bit of her North Dakota going. It took me a second to get into it. I had to take a moment. Uh, I'm not sure what that was about, but I am curious what what exactly is going on. I'm sorry to hear your friend is sick.
Oh, yeah, yes, yeah, Gail, yeah, Gail Toussaint. Um, yeah, she's got sick. A couple days ago, day ago. I'm not quite sure. I can't quite remember. But
Hmm.
like I
What
said, I
what
don't.
kind
Oh, she just said that
of
she started
stomach
feeling.
bug or cold?
I really shouldn't say. And then she starts looking back over at the door. Would you like to do some sort of check to maybe try and put her at ease, or to interrogate her, or
I would. I would put her at ease.
okay?
That might be something like I don't know that I
I mean, you're way better at bullying.
Yeah. Um,
Remember, you're not Rachel, you're Huni.
but isn't my belief would be like calming? Is that not a thing? Like one
So
of
if you
your
want to do,
examples under belief is like, oh, I'm just trying to be like, no, it's okay. Like I really just want to know that she's okay. Like I want to know if there's
gotcha,
anything I can do to help. I'm trying to
gotcha. So what
be
the belief fixing thing, the what I'm thinking about for that is like to um heal madness, kind of more of a therapy sort of thing.
oh
So like
her. Okay.
you can heal grit on people if it's some sort of madness or help them get rid of a madness type of thing.
Her. Okay. Well, I don't know that I want to bully either though.
You want to think about it for a
Assume
second?
finding yeah, but just to clarify, I assume finding would be like specifically through material objects and learning information, or there's not a
Yeah.
way I would be able to use that in like a conversation to find information.
So the finding is like for physical, it's like to find a physical clue. For brains, is
Through
like
a book.
doing research. Yeah. Yep. Exactly right.
That's what I figured. I just wanted to clarify. Yep.
Yep.
Give me
Yep.
a second to think about that.
Okay, sounds good. All right. Dan Kelly, you start heading over to the Pharaoh table where you see that Kaz has got himself into a little bit of a kerfuffle. Uh, Kaz, what does Dan Kelly overhear as someone has accused you of not bringing the right color money to the table? There's about three of them.
Just the three? Okay. Um, oh, now my friend. It appears, get my handful of weevils out.
Well,
I have had a surprise visitor, but I'll pull out my silver pocket watch and I'll start rocking it back and forth. So
it
uh, I'm going to try. I'm going to try a Jedi mind trick.
okay.
I am going to attempt to bully and give orders. Oh no, actually, oh no, fighting mind games. I'm going to try
Okay.
fighting mind games. Uh, and I'm going to flex on my Cursed Rider here. So now you have a choice, my friend. There's this pocket watch right here. Happens I love this pocket watch. I can give you this pocket watch and we'll call it even. Or else I'm going to keep my favorite pocket watch, a pocket watch I love very much. And you can tell everyone you beat a Cursed Rider fair and square at a game of Pharaoh.
All right.
I
Dan
think
Kelly.
I think I think you want the second, not the first. Just kind of play some mind games.
It's a very tempting offer. Dan Kelly, you walked over and heard Kaz say this. He's obviously trying to do some sort of swindle. Do you step in or do you just stay back?
I'm gonna wait and see what their reaction is to what he's doing, but I'm gonna stay back for now.
Okay.
But I'm gonna be close, but I'm not gonna jump in and say anything.
All right. Sounds good. Kaz, you are the attacker on this, so you roll your dice first.
Absolutely, I am. It's all right. I give it my most persuade. Oh God, just rolling like trash. All right, a 5 and a 3. Um,
Oh, I
yeah,
get a tension point.
yeah. What the hell? Let's burn that legend point I just picked up last time. Get me up to 11.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. I'm gonna do this as just a collective roll, more or less, right? Now these are charlatans. While physically weak, they've got pretty quick minds, right? And so here is my defense. You got an 11, right? Because you spent the
Yeah.
point. I mean, I've got
Who wins
tension
twice?
points to burn, right? So I might as well. All right. Yeah, I'm spending a tension point. As he
That's
begin to
no good.
rocket back and forth, you see two of them like, oh, well, that makes a good point. And the other charlatan is wearing a kind of a red and blue patchwork jacket. Now, something that you did pick up from when you were playing cards with these folks is that these are the charlatans that were too scared to go upstairs, right? They've kind of heard the weird thumps that have happened up there. This is obviously not the first person that ran out screaming. So they're too scared. They're trying to make up their money here at the Pharaoh table. So he pulls out a thin knife. Just puts the tip of it on a table. Is like, Khurst Rider, you'll bleed like anyone else, and I want my silver.
How much does he owe?
I,
Not talking to you.
I can get you your money for you if you tell me how much he owes.
I'll just lock eyes with him, put the pocket watch on the table, push it across to him. It's a 2 silver pocket watch, so I've got that. If he's willing to take that, so
Hmm, boy, but then you just tried to do that. Like, how much do I escalate this? um, I think it's fine. I think we're gonna be fine. It's like, oh, I knew you're all cheap bastards. All right, he takes the pocket watch. Now we hadn't given that pocket watch any powers beforehand. Um, I was gonna give it pluses to charming people. That I will. I'm convinced that that's the right thing to do next time. So if you get a silver watch back, it'll have bonuses. Um, all right, Dan, do you want to step in anymore? Do you want to like the guy will take 2 silver if you want to exchange it for the silver pocket watch.
Uh, Kaz, do you want your watch back?
I lost it fair and square, my Irish friend. If you would like to have my pocket watch, it is yours to buy.
I
I'll
think
get it back to you.
I
Just cost you
think
one more soul debt.
that is. All right, I'm gonna tell you right now that is not worth it. However, Kaz, I do I do want to point out that you are selfish.
Not me.
Nope. Just pointing out
Yeah,
that Kaz is.
Yeah.
yeah, I don't see the angle for me on this yet,
Okay.
but we'll see. Well, I'm gonna hold this one in my. You're picking up Dan Kelly. You're picking up the pocket watch.
Oh no, if you don't want it, I don't need it either. Just see if it was worth it to you. Some sort of sentimental value. It's not.
Oh yeah, I can't have him holding that over me. No, 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 no. I hold it over on him, not him on me. I can't do that. No, no, no. Just that old thing. Better to be rid of it.
Wow, that's what you get for dealing with cursed people, huh? And I'll look at the table. Smug, coward, charlatans, and just give them that dead stare. Maybe just barely stroke the top of my revolver a little bit as I look at him, and then I'm gonna go
Yeah,
back over to Huni.
yeah. You do have that lean look of a gunfighter, and you sling your gun low, also demarking you as a gunfighter too. So people know what that means. They kind of draw back. All right, now, Cooney, you've had some time alone with Effie, as there was a little bit of kerfuffle going on across the room. You might be able to take advantage of that. What would you like to do?
Uh, I want. I heard your friend was sick, and I know that sometimes when people are ill and not feeling well, they may want they may want to speak to somebody about spiritual matters. And I'm really good at that. And so I really wanted to just offer my services. I thought maybe you could introduce me if she wanted somebody to talk to, Um, I'm thinking like charm and belief, providing like a holy present and
Yep, perfect. Now, when you say the word religion, you see her start to go like this.
spiritual. I said
Sorry, spiritual.
spiritual
Sorry,
specifically.
you did say spiritual, not religion. You're right. When you say anything about spiritual, though, you see her start to go like shh. Um,
Ooh, oh, it can be a touchy subject. I know. Uh, is
make
there
a
a
roll.
different way you'd like me to
Nope,
do it? Okay.
no. Do exactly what you're doing and make the roll. Yep,
For the
because I got this is you do get a plus. Oh my, okay. And you get 2 legend points too.
yeah,
All
embrace.
right.
This is how I'm talking tonight.
I'm excited for it. I want you guys to, I could spend points, but I don't want this to move forward just a little bit on here. Not that it would, uh,
Oh God.
you know what? No, we're doing this as playtest. I'm going to do it as written. No, it's because you mentioned spiritualism. Effie just like clams
That's
up.
down. Yeah.
Yep. Just like, oh, I don't want to. At this point, you guys hear Sebastian's voice. Like, oh, Lily's ready for you, writers. At this point, you see the reinforced door open up from behind the bar as you see a broad-shouldered woman step through, almost filling up the frame. She's about probably 5'10" and about, I don't know, 3 feet wide. He's wearing a low-cut blouse, and just you can see the top of her incredibly muscular shoulders. Blonde hair, kind of poofed off to the side, choker with a pink bow on the side. She strides over from behind the bar as someone on a mission, not very ladylike at all. She goes like, "Are you the riders? Did the Baroness send you?"
Hi, we're the riders.
All right, got trouble. I don't know who else I can turn to. I know the stakes of the deal. I agree to them. Okay.
Then let's go back and discuss the terms and what you know.
Well, she actually starts leading you upstairs, and she's just like, I wish I could tell you much more. Um, just Gail went. She said she wanted a sabbatical, and that's fine for me. Like the ladies can take whatever time off they ever need to. It's okay. When she says this, that sounds weird. That is not how these operations operate. Okay. um, as she's leading upstairs, she's like, came back, she came down with a fever. Um, and then she started having night terrors. We had to, well, I don't, look, you guys have seen stuff. And I just, look, I welcome your aid, but I need you to be kind of as quiet as possible. My girls are very tough, but they're also very superstitious lot. She leads you down a narrow hallway to one of the girls' rooms. She tells the riders that she'll wait downstairs as she cannot stand to see the sight of one of her girls in pain. From inside the room, you hear a muffled grunt or scream or something like that. Now, before you go in, think about if there's anything that you want to get prepared for. I'm going to go grab a drink and I'll be right back. If you guys need to do that, I invite you to do the same.
Off schedule.
I don't have anything in particular I'm nervous about here other than just getting in there and seeing what's going on.
I really don't know what to expect at all if we have like physical formality or uh, physical deformalities or possession or like I literally have no idea
Yeah,
what to expect.
literally anything. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Um, I want to have an illusion ready to go.
Okay.
Uh, can I have the three of us? We look like doctors.
Oh.
Uh, sure. Yeah.
Uh, so like white jackets with like black gloves and white masks, and, like white skull caps or kerchiefs that are like tied back. That's what she sees. There's a bunch of like doctor types coming in.
Okay. Now I
Hmm.
do like this is your one use of that for the whole adventure.
Oh, that's right.
Right.
I just don't know enough about what's going on yet to know if that's worth it.
Yeah. It's a bummer that those dice went so sideways downstairs. Hmm.
Mm,
But you know what? I'm glad we're play testing this because the other group that ran through this got a lot of those rolls. It's good to see the opposite.
yeah, that's a good point. I only get one use. I'm not going to spend it now.
Okay. Sounds good.
I am going to take my handkerchief out of my pocket and like tie it around my neck so that I could bring it up over my face. Like I can't die though, right? Like we can't catch anything, can we?
Sure.
We sure we can
Oh
catch
yeah,
something,
yeah.
or sure I can do a kerchief.
Yeah, you guys can catch stuff.
All right.
Um,
Well, then
but
I'm going to do that. Then.
you're generally healthier than the local populace. You know, you guys are just like a little bit probably bigger, stronger, faster, smarter, more charismatic than like one thing I went back and rewatched the point five session that we did, and I think it's an important thing to remember is that you guys are kind of forming what would be their modern day tall tales, you know,
Mm.
like John Henry, you know, like uh Pecos Bill. I remember these names. Is that you guys are just a little bit bigger, like you are the legends of the Khurst
Hmm.
Territories, and these are your stories that you're telling. So it's you guys will get to do some fantastical things, but you're also can die. You know, you're not immortal.
Yeah.
Good to know. Before we go in, I'm gonna look at Huni and say, "Are you cursed for loving too much or something?"
What?
You just seem. I understand Kaz and understand myself. I'm not sure why you're here. You seem sorry. You seem too nice for this job, and that makes me scared of you a little bit more.
Oh, I don't know what to tell you.
All right, then maybe you should go first. Women folk talking to women folk, and I'll step back.
That's gonna be my next question. What order are you guys gonna go into the room?
I'm not real good at talking to people though, but I yeah.
That
I
seems
can
to be
go
the one
first.
thing you are willing to do, though. So, uh,
Because I'm willing to do it doesn't mean I'm good at it. I'd rather not go first. I was
well,
kind of hoping to like look at things in the room and kind of look at all and see if maybe there was like an item that was causing a problem or if there was any information. I'm good at finding stuff, information.
you're good at finding information. Once again, not sure.
Well,
Okay.
I'll head on in. I'll just go on in.
All right, perfect.
I haven't met someone whose needs I can't meet yet. I'm just gonna go right on in there.
Uh, uh,
Good evening.
uh,
Knock knock as I open the door. Good evening, my lady friend.
You crack open the door and stride in confidently. The room is small, with a traveling trunk, nightstand, and low hanging chandelier. Gail Toussaint is tied with bed sheets by wrist and ankle to a straining metal bed frame. She is drenched in rivulets of sweat as her body arcs in spasmodic pain upon your arrival. Gail whimpers as her body collapses back to the pillows. Her eyes roll wildly back into her skull before settling on. Her eyes are going to fall on Huni, and she is going to yell. What's going to work here? You will get what you desire before it returns to those that slither.
Oh, it appears has Jared frozen up for you as well?
Oh no.
Yes.
No!
She's gonna yell.
Yeah.
It's
All right, am I back?
Oh,
No.
Jared, you may be frozen to us a little bit here.
No. That was a bummer. Am I here? Okay. Oh, that could not have been less dramatic. All right. Let me see if I can get it back there. So she
Timing was great. She yells.
her eyes lock on Huni, and
Mhm.
she doesn't. I guess yelling isn't the quite right word. She hisses ish for a guttural sound. It says, "You will get what you desire before it return to those that slither." Now, in this game, adversaries go first, unless someone has the skill Quick Draw and they want to use it. Okay, I'm going to assume not. So then, this is how combat works in this game. Is that the okay, Kaz was the first person in the room, so I'm going to do this. I get to start spending tension points finally. Or actually, I've already spent 4, so that's good. I only have that many left. Okay. Okay, Kaz, I need you to make a tough test of 9. Now, how you do that is that you take it's your tough skill is just what your brawn is. That's how many dice you roll, period. And the number you're trying to beat is 9. You are muted if that matters. Oh no.
That did not go well.
You only have 2
No, pair of
points.
twos. I only have 2 dice on my brawn.
Okay.
Brawn's a 2.
You confidently stride into the room. You hear the lamentations from Gail Toussaint from this guttural language as the end table next to her bed flies kitty corner from around the room, pushing you further along and out the window as you flail, finding yourself in midair and covered in glass shards and scratches as you slam into the dusty street on the outside. Take 5 points of grit. My God. Okay. Uh Cooney, Dan Kelly, Kaz, you may now get to go. Oh, oh, that worked so well.
Okay.
Yeah, Huni, Kaz, go.
Do we go in a particular order? How does it typically work? Is there like a an initiative stat, whether that's yeah,
Nope, there's no initiative stat. Basically, bad guys go, and then you guys go. So you guys can actually work together on stuff pretty easily this way. Um, you can kind of plan a little bit better this way as well. If you want to do it narratively, Dan Kelly should probably go first, just because I think he's got. Don't you have quick draw?
I think we talked about it. I don't see where it would be written on my character sheet though.
Let's take a look here. Oh, right. No, you took taking measure, which makes more sense with
Yeah.
your. Yeah. No, that hasn't been play tested yet, so I'm glad you took it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, maybe you can just go on like who has the highest brawn, which would go like Dan, Huni, and then Kaz. If you wanted to do it like narratively, to me though, it doesn't matter.
I have left the building. Elvis has left the building, so you
Yes.
two are definitely going to be interacting first, and then I'll follow up afterward.
Yeah.
I'll look at Huni and see if like. Do you have an idea?
She's already restrained, so I don't know that restraining her helps. Do we need to like cover her face so she can't look at us? Like,
All right.
Would
I'll pull my
you?
gun.
Okay. You're gonna pull your gun, Huni. Now you had an interesting thing there. Like you're not quite sure what to do. You're kind of like the researcher, the finder, right?
yeah,
So you can try and do a check to try and figure out what's going on too.
I thought about that, but I feel like at the moment we just gotta stop her from attacking us more.
Sure, sounds good. All right, Dan, you're pulling your
Um,
gun.
first, we
Yeah.
don't want to kill her.
Why not? And I'll turn around. I'll put her my
He didn't
walk up and put my
win.
gun in her face, and I'm going to intimidate and say, "Throwing my friends out windows is not going to help you get what you want. If there's something that you want, tell me now, or I'll send you back to your maker."
Okay.
Intimidate
Yeah, yeah. So bullying and whatnot.
and whatnot. As they say.
Yeah. All right, now I've got it.
Oh,
All right,
wow.
rolled 6 dice. Ooh, I do get a attention point. All right, you got 10. Do you want to spend anything to get a higher number?
The way you've been rolling tonight makes me wonder, but
Yeah, I feel like I should apologize for that.
uh, but no, I'm just gonna hold on to that 10.
Okay. Well, I got a 10 too. All right. Yeah, you feel like you are not dealing with Gale. The power of force that you put forward, you are an imposing person. And she just lashes back at you. Is like, what you said, what did you say exactly?
Tell me what you want, or I'm gonna send you back to your
Yeah.
maker.
Killing this deed does nothing, Ryder. Specifically calls you a Ryder. Huni.
I will at this point look around and see what anything seems out of place, particularly if there's something related to snakes around.
You look for snakes. Do you want to look at the room? Well, tell you what. Here's what you can do. Um, is do-
No, I have a tree. I don't know if I have had the time to deduce anything yet.
Yeah. Well, so then, like, you're just checking for clues, right? So then it's going to be a find in, right? And do you want to put your hands on her to try and find something, or do you want to just think about it? I don't think belief finding, maybe, you know what, belief finding, that would find something else. Yeah, you have three different options for using for finding that would all get you three different answers. What would you like to do?
Um, I want to do belief finding,
Okay.
trying to see if there's any sign of there being something like Rachel's brain is going to any like is in the room that are like something that's hanging there that is clearly this like concoction of herbs that is like a cursed symbology or like something like that.
Okay.
Would that be like brains?
Well, I mean, just kind of, that sounds like that's more of a brains thing that you're doing rather than using
Okay.
your belief.
And I would do that, sure. Or like any just like any objects that seem to be
Okay.
tied. So
All right. 5 dice.
s-
And you only need a 9. Okay. So I get 2 more tension though, which is good. You get a legend point. I'm 1 away.
can I spend I'm gonna spend a legend point to make it 11.
Okay. All right. You spend a legend point. You, from the clues, you're trying to look at the room and you see on Gail's body as she is thrashing in the bed. When she kicks up, her shirt pops up a little bit, and you think you see a form or something wriggling underneath her skin on her abdomen.
Ugh.
Yeah, baby. Kaz, what do you want to do?
Pick myself up with whatever shards of the end table and bits of dignity I've left. Straighten my wool coat, my little black tie, and I'm going right back in there. Just march right in, back up the steps. 'Cause now I'm irritated.
You stop to address the room of charlatans that have stopped playing Pharaoh in the main room.
Gentlemen,
So you stomp your way back up the stairwell. All right, comes back around to me. Gail's red-rimmed eyes lock back onto Huni. Um, Gail seems to be completely focused on Huni during this whole time. I'm gonna lash out. I'm gonna do an attack, which is okay. I'm gonna get 5 dice, 5d6. Heyo, 10. I'm going to spend a some pretty good numbers. I'm gonna spend 2 tension points to go with 14 as an attack. Now this is going to be a test of faith, so it's just your whatever your belief is. That's the number of dice you roll.
Okay.
Wow.
Cool. I get 1 legend point for that, right? That is
Yeah.
true the thing.
Okay. So you're at a 7. I had a 14. Do you want to spend any legend points to keep more?
Mm.
Okay. You are going to take 7 grit of damage. You triggered it. I'm gonna have you roll a
Ouch.
d6, and I think I I don't know if I want you to roll, actually. I think this probably makes sense for what we're doing with this game. I'm going to trigger your haunt
Oh.
because it this attack is of a terrible vision that shows you a man cloaked in red tatters, leaving a trail of worms behind him as he's destroying cities. He's over 100 feet tall, walking across the land, annihilating everything. And in the back of your head, you hear, "The earth will be covered by the bliss." Trigger your haunt. So on your character sheet, what we're going to do is that you scroll down on your haunt track. We
Sorry,
are
I'm
going,
making a note of what you just told me. Lots of worms. Okay. By this. On my
uh,
character sheet.
so we're going to
Okay.
go down to your haunt track, which is deal with the devil. I'm going to trigger
Mhm.
Chaikin. Okay. And now let's get to that's the curse prompts, and I need I need haunt curses. Sorry about this, taking a little bit. That's why they call it playtesting. There we go.
Mhm.
All right. Think about these things if you want to do it right now. But here's your prompt that you have to tell us all. Because the rest of your turn, you're just dealing with thinking. Okay. What situation did the Baroness save you from, and how does it relate to this very scene? You want a second to think about it?
Uh, yes. Can you also read the thing one more time? Oh, how it relates to this current scene,
Mm-hmm.
not to the vision I received. Got it. Never mind.
Yep. So think about that. All right. Dan, you see Huni just flail backwards as you see your head just kind of snap back, staring off into the void.
Did I see the
Yeah,
creature under her skin?
we're gonna say Huni like goes like, oh, like she was making that sound and like pointing. So yes.
Yeah. Woof. Um, can I use I mean, I think that she's possessed, right?
Yeah.
Like by something.
Okay.
Uh, certainly not Dan's wheelhouse.
Hmm.
Usually he gets hired to use his gun, and this is different. Um, but he definitely uh oof, his his background is in like in Fae. It's not rooted in any sort of belief system of humans. Uh, and so he's gonna uh try to use some weird like his not like Fae magic, if you will, um, and uh asking for like Fae spirits to come and take this thing inside of her and just take it away. And like, so is it a converting or a holy presence or something like that?
So that is going to be a belief bullying. Yeah.
There it is. Okay.
Yep. Absolutely.
Which
100%.
which was is not what he's good at necessarily. Let's see what happens. Everyone else is rolling so well. I don't want to be the guy who doesn't. Uh, yikes! Here we go.
Well, I'm due. Okay.
Hey, but I'm rolling like a champ.
Okay. And you get 2 legend points for that too. Do you want to spend any legend points to keep more?
Way you're rolling, it makes me want to.
I
If
know.
it's only a 2, yeah, no, I'm not gonna add 2 to it. If it was a
Okay.
4, I would, but not a 2. What
Unbelievable.
the hell, dude?
I
This is
will.
horseshit.
This is crazy.
Yeah.
I will. I will say you summon your Irish Fae spirits to this location, but what is inhabiting this poor woman is too strong as it fights them off.
Right.
Kaz, you stride back into the room just in time to see Huni's head snap back um, in horror. What would you like to do?
Wow, shit went sideways since I left, didn't it?
Since you left.
Stepped outside for a
Just
breath of fresh air. Oh, I don't know what I can do in a um, metaphysical sense here.
yeah.
So I'm going to walk up to the bed and put my hands on her shoulders and look into her eyes, and I'm gonna I'm gonna take a gamble here. I'm going to say, "Show me what you want, demon," and I'm going to apply my heart's desire ability
Yeah.
that allows me to suss out. Now it says what a person really, really wants, but I'm gonna hope that if there's something else here that I can see that. So, demon, show me.
Okay. Yeah, and that's something like demons and all this stuff can be affected by this stuff, right? Um, so you reach in to find out as you get locked spiritually into an arm wrestling match with this thing, and it wants to help you. It wants to give you everything that you want, anything that you desire. It wants to give that to you. That's what it
Um,
wants.
wow, wow. I'm gonna call that a mind game for sure. Mm,
I feel like, I'm- you know what? No, that's going to be very important information later on, depending on what you do with it. So I think that's pretty good. Okay, you go up and you just get like, what? Um, Huni, set the scene, tell us what happened, and we'll go into the next round.
So since we haven't done this before, I don't know how detailed you want this to be. I don't know how you want it to tie into things.
It's your
But
story.
Shaken, right, but Shaken said I had read something that I shouldn't have. And so I think whatever it was that I read led me on like some type of hunt for, like it was like leading me somewhere. And when I got to that place, um, that I still don't remember what that place is, but I know that when I entered, what I read let me enter, it released some kind of infestation. And therefore seeing some type of infestation in this girl triggered this visceral memory of some type of infestation that Baroness saved me from. Saved me from the repercussions of it affecting other people. I'm not sure about that. How does that work, Jerod? Just since this is the first time we've done one of these stories, is it supposed
Sure.
to?
Let me ask you a quick question. Is this the same force
I don't
related
think
to it?
necessarily. No,
Okay.
no, it's not the same, but it's the same concept of there being something that would like burrow in and
Okay.
cause some type of under the skin situation happening.
Okay.
It's just giving Rachel chills.
Okay. Perfect. All right. Under the skin manifestation that you read something you should not have read has fundamentally changed you in some way. And this thing is a cousin to it, more or less. As you
Yeah.
drop to your knees, scratching furiously, trying to make sure that you're not infected. Okay, let's go into the next round. I think, boy, what should I do here? All of you are great targets, so I'm gonna roll a d6. All right, that gives me Dan. Since you were the one trying to lock with me with your spirits, Gale turns to you and is like, I will show you what true power is, and gives you the same vision of the man in red tatters walking across, and you hear a voice that says, the million maws scream for release. And yeah, I might as well spend a point. I'm going to hit you for 17.
What do I get to roll?
This is your belief.
Straight up belief.
Yeah.
This is straight up horseshit right here. All
Are
right.
you a 2?
Yeah. I got an 8.
Okay, and I had a 17 minus 8 is, well, 9, right?
That's how math works. Do
Yeah.
I take 9 grit?
Take 9 grit.
All right. We're
Am I gonna
fucking
get a
done here.
TPK in the first encounter? All right.
Oh,
Now,
like
but all 3 of you are now in the same room and you have all of your actions available to you. You kind of know different options of what you can do. So impress me. What are you gonna do?
I'll help hold her down. Somebody cut thing out of her.
Can I use my advantage and my professional ability on the same round?
Yeah, yeah, I guess. Let's find out.
Great. GM, please tell me the remaining grit of the D that is inside of Gale.
Yes, 8.
Fuck. Wish it was less than that. Great. I am going to fire specifically at the thing inside of her, assuming that it's a physical thing that I can shoot. If
Okay.
it's not,
Help
I don't
hold her
really
down.
care because she took 9
Brawn
health away
fighting.
from me.
Lay across her so that the target is a little easier, like she's not fighting so much.
Okay.
Oh, I don't care.
Now,
It's fine if
you
you want.
specifically said cut this out, right? Someone said that. That'd be a fixin' check.
Well, I want to do the hold down part. I want to do Ron fighting to hold her down
Okay.
while somebody else deals with that.
Okay. So I can get
I
you
guess
get
I'm okay at fixing, aren't I? Am I good at fixing? I'm kind of okay at fixing, so I can probably do that.
I mean,
Whichever combination.
that's what we're doing.
Somebody else deals with.
yeah, you can try and cut it out right now because you're pretty sure now you know what you're dealing with. If you just try and shoot it, you're probably gonna just do more damage to Gale, to killing Gale than to.
Yeah. Well, it did a lot of damage to me. I'm not sure how much I give a shit about Gale at this point.
That's also
So
true.
I'm gonna shoot her. I'm gonna shoot her. If it took like 5 points from me, fine. But I'm a cursed rider. I'm not a freaking angel rider. I'm gonna shoot this fucking thing. And if she dies, so be it. I'm gonna die too. So I'm so sorry, Gale, but I'm gonna shoot her.
All right. In what order are you guys gonna do this? Maybe that might help too.
I think
As do
my
you
initiative
have an
next.
intention for this round? There's no initiative. We get to
Boy,
decide
I
our
didn't.
order ourselves.
You're pinning her down. You're just like drawing hard on her. I was gonna try to use some my fight and belief to banish the dead, or I was gonna try to command it to leave.
How about
I
this?
I was gonna pull my crystal ball and attempt to show the demon its worst fears.
I'm gonna pull my gun and I'm gonna say, uh, if you all want to deny what you are and use the forces of good to help this woman, do it now. You all get one shot, and then I'm going to be the true cursed rider. And I just have my gun pointed right at her belly. Take your moments and go now. You guys do what you want to do.
All right, I'm gonna pull my crystal ball. I reach into my wool jacket and I pull out. It's a small crystal ball, maybe it's about the size of a tennis ball, not a big one, right? Nothing big and elaborate. And it immediately fills with a black cloud inside of the crystal. And I pull it in front of the infected soul here and say, "Demon, see your fears." And it swirls with whatever the demon or whatever the hell's going on here might fear. I don't even know what that is, but I'm going to attempt to banish the dead, my fight and belief.
Yeah, give it.
Worst part is I don't even know what this damn thing does. I just use it. So, oh boy, look at all those fives. And because it's my signature weapon, I can reroll a number of dice equal to my fighting skill. So 2. So I'm gonna reroll 2 of those.
Okay.
So I've got a couple of 5s going for me right now. Holy buckets! All right, well I downgraded on both of those. All right, yeah, to straight up 10. Pair of 5s at him.
I assume though you want to spend legend points at this point, if you have any to spend.
Yeah, I sure would. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yep.
So you can spend 2 to
I
get.
don't have any. Yeah.
Okay. Oh
Yeah,
no.
I got none of those. So I'm just gonna take
Can I
that pair of
fill
5s.
out points? I have a lot of them.
No, that's a different skill. However, I rolled terribly. Um, so let's tinker with that. All right. So Kaz, look into my crystal ball. It shrouds in darkness. Now, one of the things is you never see it, right? It's always in the eye of the beholder. And so Gail Toussaint finally rips her stare down with Huni to look into the crystal ball. And you see her eyes roll back into her head once more. It's like, take it away! As you do 5 down to 3. All right, as the body is now ricocheting a lot more off the bed. Now, Huni, you wanted to hold her down?
I'm gonna hold her down.
Okay, that's going to be a brawn check, right? Brawn
Yeah.
in, I don't know, brawn and fighting probably make the most sense.
Good, because I'm gonna use my guided strike to add my ranks of belief. Roll
Okay.
9 dice.
Oh, hold on.
That's not how that works.
Nope. That +3 is +3 total. And you can choose to add it after you've rolled.
Oh, so hold on. So I have fighting, brawn is 5. And if I decide to use it, I get to add ranks of belief, which is 4, correct?
Oh, sorry, +4 to your roll. Yeah, total.
Okay, I just want to make sure I was doing the math right. Okay.
Yep.
Yes, that's fine. Then
Okay.
I will roll without it first.
Yep. Not a great roll. Do you want to do? Well, yeah. Do you want to do legend points and or trigger your ability?
If I do my ability, so I get to roll 4 more dice, or I get to add 4. I get to add 4. That's what it is. I understand now. I
4
misunderstood.
total. Yep.
Add 4. I am going to do 1 legend point and still add my guided strike. So I end up at 16.
16. Okay. I have 2 dice. I am not a very strong woman. Um,
Oh,
so
legend points to spare.
you have her completely pressed against the bed for Dan. Like you've got her pressed down and you've got ripped open her shirt on her belly and you think you found
I
it.
got her, Dan. You don't have to shoot her.
You got
Get it out of her.
as you're kind of pushing it off maybe to the side of her belly as it squirms underneath there. It looks maybe the size of like 4 inches long. Um, Dan, you got some choices here. And I think narratively there's a bunch of stuff that makes sense that will not kill her. What would you like to do? Unless you'd like to just kill her, there's also that option too. As Dan
Yeah,
changes from her to her head and just pulls a, who knows?
yeah. He already decided I'd take a bounty hunting gig because he didn't want to do that sort of thing. He's really pissed right now, um, but he sees that uh, Huni has her down.
Oh, right. I wanted to come back because of the order that we did things. You used your ability before Kaz got to move, but that wouldn't make sense, right? Kaz goes first. The thing has 3 stamina left.
Oh, that I would holster my gun, pull the knife, and use my killer instinct to be able to do a precision kill on this thing and kill it immediately, right?
Yeah, show me what that looks like.
Yeah. Um, Dan does the twirls the revolver, drops it into his holster, doesn't even put all the way in, and uh, pulls the knife out of his left hand, flips it over once, takes one moment to look, and just stabs her right with this tiny little incision that goes into her belly, kills that 4-inch thing, and pops out again. And it's on it. It's on the knife when he pulls it out. I don't know. You tell me. Is that cool?
Yeah, that works great for me. It
Gross.
squirms with the last little bit before it goes lifeless. It is like a bright red orange leech slug about this long. And you've killed it, so it starts to elongate because it's not tensing up anymore, just hanging off of your knife. Gale's body finally collapses back onto the bed, almost in rest. Her breathing is labored but starts to even out as the chaos of what's happened is finally still starting to calm down. Each of you has been badly hurt in your first encounter with the supernatural in this your of your first mission as a cursed rider. Uh, Gale opens her eyes uh, weakly, goes like, "Who, who? You're all folk. Wha- What's going on?"
I'm gonna Is she wearing like what is she wearing? Like a night dress or like you know what I mean, like
Yeah,
a
kind of like
nightgown or
a
something?
yeah, like a thick cotton, perfect for this sort of weather.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Bloomers, yeah, the old timey, yeah.
Uh, is there any other sort of clothing that's like sitting around this room?
Yeah, you figure she's
Even
got a
like
whole
bedding.
wardrobe in the trunk at the foot of her bed.
I'm just gonna probably just grab part of her bedding and just like cut off a strip and wad it up. I'm gonna put it on her wound, and then I'm gonna take Huni's hand and put it over that wound and make her hold it down since she's right there. So I can like then I'm gonna take out part of the same cloth and wipe off my knife and get this fucking dead demon thing off of it. And I'm
Yeah.
just gonna back up to the away from it on the wall and sort of slump down
Whoa.
and hit the floor.
Kaz, Huni.
Is this wormy looking thing the same as the vision that I had? I- The
It
wormy
looks
things?
like one of the thousands that was falling off the towering man in the red tatters.
Well, I'm holding this wound because Anna keeps just handing his things off to me for whatever reason. And uh but I will I will like try to climb off like however I had her pinned down, I'm like holding the wound and also trying to be like, let me get off of you.
Mm.
But is she conscious? Or is
Yeah,
she just
yeah, she's
she's
conscious.
unconscious?
She's asking who you people are.
Right. Um, I reached the wormy thing that as I'm holding her wound,
If you want to, yeah, you can
kind
grab
of
it.
be like, have you seen this before?
What? No. What? And then you see her kind of like glitch a little bit as as she kind of starts to remember maybe a little bit of what's been happening. As she's like, oh, that thing was in me, wasn't it? Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
I
I don't
agree.
like.
It's really gross, but how did it get there?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how that thing would get in me. Uh, you managed to get her calmed down
Do
a
you?
little bit. Yeah.
Oh, I was just gonna ask, did you interact with anybody new that seems unusual?
Oh, just just promise you won't tell Lily.
Promise.
Okay. Now she is starting to remember a little bit more of what's happening, and she will gladly talk to you. She says that she went to take confession to be born again from her sinning.
You
There's a
wanted
traveling
somebody
tent show.
spiritual to talk
uh, she went to there's a traveling tent show called Honest Jacob's Revival and Soul Salvation, just northeast of New Rouge. Uh, they said that they were going to head on to Purity on their way to New London if I wanted to join them for only if you go to the show for only 2 silver and hear the good word for 3, you can be baptized. But just tell, but swear to me, don't tell Lily I got baptized. She'd be so very disappointed in me. You realize that she's not afraid, and like when you look in that trunk, she's packed to leave. But Gail's not afraid of telling her mom that she's leaving. She's afraid of telling her that she got saved.
Yeah. I
And
won't tell her.
at that
Did Effie go with you though?
what? No, no, no. I told Effie I was where I was going just in case.
Hey, sure seemed to know something was up related to spiritual matters.
Oh, that's just Mama. She doesn't like us talking about that sort of stuff. She said God had done died a long time ago.
So if we can extend our promise a little further to you, would you share who else was at that show that you know? Anyone else in town that was there that might have undergone and spent their 3 silver and gotten that time behind the curtain with the good preacher?
Well, nobody that I saw, nobody that I knew. I wanted to make sure I had a clean start, and so no, I think I'm the only one that'd be like that would, misbehave for Mama. None of the other girls would do that. I mean, they served with her, and she kind of stops briefly, and she goes like, "Well, they they would never do anything that Mama said not to do." So no, it was just me. I didn't see nobody else that I didn't not know, you know.
Did you have to like write your name down on some type of ledger
Well,
when
no,
you got baptized?
no, no,
Okay.
no. And it's at this point that Gail starts to succumb and start to fall unconscious. Um,
I think we need to get her a real doctor, not just me holding this wound.
What about me? I take a real doctor too while we're at it.
As would I.
we'll
I think all my
explore.
grit was belief damage. So no, my brain, I need to go take a nap.
We'll explore
Maybe
healing
see a
damage
therapist.
the next time we get together because everyone's pretty badly hurt. I think, weirdly enough, Kaz is the healthiest at half. Yeah, is that? um,
After his
I
fall
have
from the
one.
window. I have 2,
two?
3. I think I have
Yeah,
3.
I think you might be at three. Um, but Madame Lily comes up, rushes over, hugs Gail, sees that the room's an absolute mess, but she doesn't care. She's just happy that Gail is seems to be fine or whatever, and like she's just like she throws the 10 silver at you, and she's like, just consider us even with the Baroness. But you remember, the Baroness, your mission wasn't to heal Gail. Your mission is to keep it from spreading. So that's where we'll leave off. Thank you guys so much. I had a ton of fun. This was awesome. If you have 10 or 15 minutes, probably not even that long, to talk about what worked or didn't work, I'd love to have you stay, but I know you guys are also super tired. If you need to get off, please do that too. But that's how Legends works. It works a little bit different than Honor Bound. The damage system was the biggest thing I was really worried about, and I love how it works. That everything's like a defense sort of roll against that you do. How did that work for you guys?
I mean, obviously poorly. It ripped through us really quickly. But as a concept, I like it.
I
Wow. We got beat up.
yeah. That's one thing
Yikes.
about this encounter too is I wanted to make it sure that it was tough, but I also it just happened to use the exact right things. Like she was going to throw that end table at the first person who was coming through. It just happened to be the person with the worst brawn, you know. uh, um,
And then she came at me with the person with like the worst belief. And
yeah,
that she hit me for all that, Like, yeah, all
yeah,
the way around, which is well timed.
yeah. It just turned out great. Thank you for not totally straight up killing Gale. That in the 2 playtests I've done so far, Gale has survived, which is great to hear. How did the world feel? How do the legend points seem to be coming and going? And do you feel like I'm getting too many tension points, or is the reveal of stuff happening just right? I triggered that haunt early. First of all, I wanted to see one in action, but second of all, it seemed to really fit exactly what was going to happen because the
For sure.
the possession, well, I'll say what it like. There's a possession of something. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but with Kaz's information of what it wants, you guys might be able to do some research actually to figure out exactly what it is later on or next if you want to. Whoever had the highest belief was going to be the person that Gale locked onto, and that happened to be Huni. Um, so let's call it what are they call them? Stars and wishes. So what stars things? What worked well for you guys? If each one of you could come up with something, I'd really appreciate it. You can also just pass.
I think I get the like the Wild West of the world. And like I I watched all of Deadwood and I loved it all.
Yeah,
And um but I'm also a middle-aged white man, and that's sort of my wheelhouse. There might be some shorthand that needs to be used to like explain to people that don't have that pop cultural reference on what this is. I don't
yeah.
know. Um, I get it. I know it immediately, and I love it.
Okay. So that's what worked for you. So that's a star. Then for his wishes, what would you like to see more of?
uh, and this is early, and I don't. There's still like I get the old westiness of the world. I get the what my character's thing is. I don't really have a great concept yet of like how many other people are supernatural and how many people in the territories are humans or not.
Yeah,
Uh, I get the feeling that it's more not, but I don't have a good a feel for what that ratio would be. Like
yeah,
how many of the
yeah.
people in the saloon are they monsters? Are they part monster? Are they all human? Are they all cursed? Are they all people here that are in purgatory? Like I don't really get that yet. And I think it's
Okay.
probably something we're going to figure out as we go along, but I don't really have a good concept for what's going on for that yet.
Yeah.
Not detrimental to what we're doing either yet. Um, but I just don't know.
But that's something I can work on too, because it's more of like a setting thing to get you guys more comfortable to it, which maybe I can do like a little 10-minute like little build up before we start next time. But to, like let you know, like that charlatan that Kaz ended up that was gonna face down with was a dream peddler. So like he has an ability of making potions. And like but the thing is like the potion, it can either bless you, curse you, or it can do nothing but make you think that you're blessed, which is my favorite one. um so like a little bit like everyone has had contact with the supernatural a little bit, but I'll work on that. Yeah, that's a great thing to know. um Rachel, what worked for you?
I really liked the balance between like there being some type of encounter and there being some type of like information to gather. Like I felt like having to physically deal with Gale, but also like, oh, there's something we need to try to learn about. I liked the balance of that. Um, so it wasn't all one or the other. I had another thought of something else I liked. I like the slow burn of the haunt, like getting a little piece of information. And maybe that's because I was the one that was affected by it this time. But I like I get one little piece now, and maybe I'll get another little piece in a little bit. I don't
Yeah, I am super
know.
excited to see where this takes us. And I'm also excited to see like when one of the curses gets triggered, right? Because that'll be a whole nother thing on top of it. So,
Mhm.
okay, balance of skills in the
Like
haunt.
that, with that, like with the slow burn of it, it's also like I can't really plan ahead what it was. Like I can't figure out what the story was because then I have to like tie it to the current scene. Like in the moment, I have to be like, well, I guess this is what happened. Like Rachel doesn't know what happened until I get a little piece of it, and then I add a little piece to it or whatever.
Yeah, I really
I
like
like
that with the memories being real or not real or taken or whatever, as slowly revealing as it goes along. Yeah, that's super fun. Awesome. Thank you so much for being the guinea pigs for that. And Aaron, what worked for you?
So I feel like I walked into Al Swearengen's place and I immediately knew people who will be important later. So in that sense, like, hey, this is where we are. We head on over to a place we've been. We see people we know. Um, just the way of rolling that forward made it feel like this is a place where we're already known. We're in so much of so many gaming experiences. You're the novice, no one really knows you, you don't have any cred, there's no recognition, you're just another yahoo with a sword or whatever. Whereas this, I kind of actually like it that we might not really know our characters very well, but everyone else knows our characters, and so there's a presumption uh, of competence going into it. And again, that doesn't always happen with a lot of gaming, where you're sort of the first level green behind the ears kind of thing. So it felt as though I was walking right into a space where I was interacting with people who will be important later. So I liked that feeling of already an idea of a persistent world that feels very comfortable. We're not maybe comfortable is not the right word, but yeah, certainly a place where we'll grow into. So I liked the way that was just sort of presented and natural. I didn't love the rolls. The rolls were not in our favor this time. Uh, man, I could have. I think I started. I think I burned through every asset I started the game with in the first 90 seconds. But what are you gonna do?
Uh,
Uh,
the the
I think
losing your silver was perfectly timed. Like that. That's in like I will get the table out for you, rolling the three, and all your silver's gone. Like that's exactly what it was. But I'm sorry, I
yeah,
interrupted you.
no, 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 no. In that sense, it all sort of clicked nicely. Like, all right, I'm gonna go play. Oh, I blew it. Oh, I blew that. Oh, and I'm out all legend points. And oh shit, I don't have any silver on me. Okay, well, here we are. So there's a feeling of randomness. I think in this case was fun. Had we been playing for 7 or 8 sessions and we were really far into it, and everything sort of slid sideways based on a few bad rolls, I would probably be a little like seriously. Um, but as it was, I thought it all flowed rather nicely. For me, it was more slapstick this adventure than horror, but mostly because as the horror was unfolding, I was flat on my back in the dust outside. So it didn't affect me in the same way that it affected others. Where I was like, well, shit, I guess like, oh, things went badly. At least I missed that. So that's good. Um, so and I mean, this is I guess the real sort of piece that I always have is the rolling feels. I don't want to say the word is thin, right? It doesn't. It feels where there's a lot of randomness and there's not always a lot you can do to affect it. If that makes sense. I don't know that that's a fair complaint about the system, but it feels as though as you only take the top two, that sort of the highest two, um, rolling 76 sometimes doesn't really have the impact that you might think it would. I don't know. What do the rest of you think about sort of the way the dice system and the role of randomness versus skills and expertise and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, it's rough because so many RPGs have modifiers that when you level up, those modifiers grow, and so they just get better at stuff naturally, right? Doesn't Mick could tell me what the odds are, um, as far as like rolling d6s and saying, all right, well, having a 2d6 or 3d6 or 4d6, it doesn't really matter. You have 96. You really what the odds are of rolling high enough on the first two, and that's it. It's it's pretty rough. If
Yeah.
you uh, having legend points and really hoarding them, it's going to be useful. and you're gonna have to. It's part of the game, right? Like you can never assume, particularly when the GM is rolling the way he rolls tonight.
Yeah.
Never assume that any two dice you roll is enough. Assume that you need at least three for every roll if you want to succeed. I think that's what we've learned, right? It's not enough. A 12 isn't enough to win. And that's if you roll perfect. And there's odds are that you're gonna mostly on 2d6 probably roll like five. Like I, six, maybe. You know what I mean?
Mm.
It's right there in the middle. So uh that being said, I've never been one to really care about that. Um, I think it's fun. I think failure is interesting in this sort of game. It's a role playing based game. This is not a try to kill as many zombies as you can sort of thing. So it doesn't matter to me, really.
Yeah.
It'd be
You
nice
know
if
what?
we could roll better, but well,
Yeah.
you
It
get what you
was
get.
interesting going into that last part when the other group got a lot of the information, you know. I'm sorry, Rachel. Did you want to have something to say about the dice at all? Because this is great stuff. Like it's good for me to know.
No, I was just gonna add, like, I recognize that when I roll more dice, the odds of rolling some high ones goes up. But also, like, yeah, it feels like when I'm really good at something, you see that's like, but then should get to keep three. But like I get it that the odds that the two is enough more dice. But yeah, I get where it can be kind of like, well, there's literally nothing I can do, and if I haven't hoarded legend points, or if like I just can't, like there's no rolls happening that are giving me legend
Hmm.
points. I don't know what there's to do about that. I don't know that it needs anything done, but I can definitely see that sometimes I'm just like, but I'm supposed to be good at this. Why did I literally get a two? Like,
Yeah,
See,
and certainly, I appreciate the points here that it's sort of narratively failure is interesting, right? Um, so I'm down with that. It just there's still that feeling of like I can't go into anything assuming it's going to go well. Does that make sense? Like sometimes it feels like simple
100%.
stuff should be simple and hard stuff should be hard, but it doesn't always kind of track that way. I don't know. Maybe I just hate to roll badly, and I'm just a wiener about that kind of stuff. But it seems like easy things should be easy and hard things should be hard, and it does. I can't really always get that to click. Yeah.
I think there's also something to be said for like, rather than us having like DC's beat, we have somebody else's rule to beat. So it makes it that much more unpredictable. Like something I'm really good at because I get to roll lots of dice and my odds are higher. I'll get a five and a six because I'm rolling a whole bunch of dice. But like I'm also rolling against somebody who gets to roll six dice. And the odds that they're gonna get high numbers is also high. So it's like rather than just being like, oh, I get to roll seven dice and all I have to get is an eight, like can probably do that, but if it's like, "Oh, but that person just got 15," like,
yeah,
Yeah, I'm not sure what
what's supposed to do
the
about that?
odds are because each individual dice, just because you have more of them, doesn't mean they're going to roll higher, right? Like
right.
I'm bad at this stuff. I don't know how it works, but it doesn't.
I think it's the odds that something in your like, yes, it's not odds that are you're gonna roll higher, but it's the odds that in the array that you're rolling, there is something high.
I
Does
don't
that make
think that's
sense?
true.
It, so I've got all the math charted out. Um,
Good.
if you
Good.
get to once you start rolling 10 dice, you're not guaranteed to get a 12 if you keep two, but you're pretty much guaranteed to get a 12 once you hit 10 dice, ballpark, right?
Ten
Um,
dice.
it really doesn't, it moves up by about, I want to say point seven or some weird, it's a weird number where you can't track it correctly for each die you add on for what the average of keeping two is. Okay. Ballpark around there. Now it's when you start adding legend points in there. But I can share all that data with you guys if you want to see it. Um, but it is, I think Aaron did a nice summation of it. Like easy should be easy, and difficult should be difficult. Now, I will say once you guys start doing more what are called environment checks, like, well, I want to do this research. If you're not going up against someone, they're static numbers. And it's going to be like, well, is it easy? You got to get a 7 or better. Is it hard? Well, you need like a 9. But if you're rolling 6 dice, should be fine, right? And then you can always spend legend points to kind of guarantee to get it. So you're going to run into more of those. But when you're in a fight, I don't want anything to feel easy, but there should be things that are easier than this, right? This was a whole, like, this is why we're doing the play testing. Also, starting off at 10 grit, is that enough? Um, I, there were some
Damage
really
being
bad
dealt.
dice, but what was that, Rachel?
I just said for the damage being dealt, maybe not.
But I was also attacking
Bad
everyone
dice.
on their weakest stat, like just how it
Yeah.
turned out too. So we'll we'll do the next part. We won't change anything for now. Um, but there
Jared,
is
I don't know
some.
if you. This is going to completely wreck your math. I don't know if you thought about this. Having modifiers for dice rolls, um, it would really mess it up for you, I'm sure. But if we roll 6 dice, for every dice you roll, you get a +1.
Mm,
And so if I roll 66, I get it's essentially 66 plus 6. So that I'm guaranteed a minimum of 9,
yeah,
but I'm
yeah.
rolled 6 dice. If I'm rolling a 2d6, I get a 2d6 plus 2, a minimum of 4. I mean, I'm sure your whole curve gets completely, obviously,
Oh, for sure.
changes.
It,
Um,
weirdly enough, that was my first thought when you guys were talking. I was like, well, just +1 for every dice that you roll, right?
yeah,
Then I'm like, well, would it be better to do a +1 for each die that is your attribute to put the emphasis more on attributes?
that would make a lot of sense.
You know?
You get a
Yeah,
plus
that's
4,
actually what
like
came
my
to my
brawn.
mind.
Yeah.
Like you're guaranteed whatever your minimum number is. Like I will get a minimum of whatever that skill is. Like that's the first game.
I feel better about that.
Because it
Just
really sucks when you're really good at when your skill is a 4.
yeah.
Mhm.
Well, once again, I'm not a min maxer when it comes to like dice and skills and shit. But
I am not a mathematician, so
yeah,
how that odds stack up.
knowing that you have a minimum, because really, when we roll, there's nothing to say we're not going to get a 2.
Yeah. Correct.
We have as good of
That's
odds
something
getting a
you're
2
really
as
good at.
we have getting a 12. Really, I mean, we add more dice. Just because we're adding more dice doesn't mean we're more likely to get a 12, right? Or aren't we just as likely to get a 2?
No,
To just go up that way?
it does go up because you're adding more dice to it. Now, if you're calculating adding more dice about rolling all ones or all sixes, that's the same number. But
Yeah,
if you're just trying to roll more dice but trying to get a 2 or a 12,
yeah.
Um,
your chances of rolling a 2 start to disappear, right?
As to your chances of getting a 12, probably, right? Because
Yes, yeah,
numbers in
yep,
the middle are more likely to add up to those combinations.
yes,
Sure.
mm,
I
Sense.
think modifiers are a safer bet always if you want to get to
yeah.
the point where I want to be able to do something, I should be good at it. Even if I roll shitty, at least I have a better shot at getting at it. I don't know. It's a modifier would help, but it's not going to make me
Like you
go one way or the other, really.
I was gonna say, like you said, like, we haven't done any environment checks, so maybe we'll feel
Yeah,
totally different after we do some research,
yeah, sure.
as opposed to a fight where we
yeah.
act
Yeah.
just
And
a little off.
Don't
Aaron,
change anything yet. Let's see how it goes, right?
yeah,
But
yeah, for sure. That's what like we're doing the playtest. We're gonna say something, Aaron?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, I think there's enough of a narrative focus of the game that I wouldn't only pick things, like my brains are 4. I wouldn't only pick things off that row, right? That I'm not as worried about as I am in a sort of a hardcore D20 kind of constant rolling for everything kind of place where then you just min max because that's how you survive, right? Here it
Yeah,
doesn't feel as though I have to do that as much, right? That if I want to try doctrine, I've only got 2 die on that, and my brawn's a 2, so it's not going to go very well. But that's okay; it doesn't really matter, right? Because the narrative would call for that. So I'm not worried about that. no matter how you might do some sort of tweak to the number system, I wouldn't think that would override the narrative the centering of the narrative in this. And I will, and I don't remember who said it. It doesn't feel as though failing a roll means you can't progress in the adventure, right? Where if I blow a research check, it feels as though there's been enough world building around it that, hey, you know what, that wasn't the path, we're gonna have to find another path. There are other paths. So I don't think a failed roll, I mean, well, it might end us flat on our backs in a fight. It doesn't feel like it would stop the story going forward. So yeah, so in that sense, I'm not as worried about it as I might be in a different kind of setting. But yeah, so I'd say, I feel like I'm always bringing up the same point of I don't love how the dice work, and I don't mean that to be a criticism that this system doesn't work. It's just that it feels very random sometimes, but ultimately it works well, and the world building is in place, and the narrative structure is in place, that it doesn't kill the fun or hold it back. So I just want to make sure that it's not that deep of a criticism.
Yeah, right on.
That was a lot of words, but yeah, hopefully that makes.
Unrelated. The one thing I feel like I haven't gotten to explore yet that I'm sure is coming, but like the tribal stuff, like the lycanthropy, like I don't know how and when that comes into play. Sure
Yeah.
it's coming, but that was my I wish, if we're saying wishes, I wish I'd gotten a chance to
Yeah.
that a
Yeah.
little bit.
And I'll be honest with
Not yet.
you, it's the one thing I'm most worried about in the game. So I gotta trigger it next thing because it's pretty random. Like all of a sudden you get a totally new kick-ass power, you know. But I did change the rules up enough where you're also going to get a new limitation because you start to become more and more of the thing of the curse. Um, which I did a little bit more write up in the rules, but you guys don't have those yet. So yeah. So like you'll get super new cool powers. And we probably like Dan Kelly used his professional ability for the adventure to great effect, right? We probably should have played that up maybe a little bit more to show like how cool that was. Kaz used his ability, professional ability, to suss out what the demon really wanted or the thing really wanted, right? So then no one has used their powers yet. I don't think anyway. So that'll be interesting to see. That maybe the playtest we're going to end up in like, you know what, these things just don't really work, but we'll find out. But again, had an awesome time. This is probably my favorite thing to play right now. Just I don't know, maybe it's just because the world is a lot easier. Like doing Honor Bound is awesome. I love playing Honor Bound, but because we have that touchstone of the Wild West stuff already, it's a lot easier, you know. So, and just like I love the reactions that you guys gave, like as the more horror stuff started to come out, like I could feel it start to change. Going from like, I don't have the money, like, we just can't get through the information to these people, like, oh, for God's sakes, all right, let's go upstairs, let's get this done or whatever. And go up there and you're like, oh, okay, this isn't quite right. Kaz gets knocked out from the window, which is a huge shout out to the first Call of Cthulhu adventure I ever played in. That's why that exists. So sorry. um, but then, like, yeah, as you're starting to realize, like, she's possessed of something, there's squirming stuff happening, body horror, like, all of a sudden it starts to change weirder and grosser and grosser. And you guys had loved your reactions to it. So thank you so much for playing. And see you next Sunday, yeah? All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks. Have a good night.
Thanks, guys.
Night.